everybody. Welcome to another Brazilian Buddy Show. My name is Andrey, and I'm here to prove to you that we are more than samba, football, and carnival. Today, we have a Russian guest. So, Tanya, how are you? Good night.
Good. How are you?
Evening. Yeah, I'm great. We are going to talk about our similarities that we have with you and your trip to Brazil, right? So, can you talk a little bit about you and how started the idea to come to Brazil?
Sure. My name is actually Tatiana, but I go by Tanya. It's a short form of my name. I live in Florida and I teach English as a second language in a community college in Florida. And I work with a lot of international students, and some of them are from Brazil. And since I've been teaching now for some time, more than a decade, I've always been interested in visiting countries where my students come from. And Brazil has always been on that list, on the top of my list. But there was always something, either they required a visa to travel to Brazil or something, and it's kind of expensive to go to Brazil in comparison to other countries. So I was waiting for a good moment to go, and maybe I shouldn't say that, but thanks to COVID, I was able to do that. So, and I finally went to Brazil.
Nice.
And when we visit a new country, whether we like it or not, we arrive with some certain stereotypes, right, about the country. And so Brazil was not an exception for me, even though I was already introduced to the culture through my students, and I've tried so much food, and I know a little bit about the culture. I still had my reservations. I still had some stereotypes about Brazil, Brazilian women and men, and the country itself. And so I was actually glad to start my trip, to start exploring this wonderful country from Manaus, from the Amazon rainforest, or they call it jungle, Amazon or jungle. And so that right away dispelled a lot of stereotypes for me and a lot of myths about Brazil. First of all, I don't know about you guys, but when I grew up in Russia, I didn't travel a lot around the country. I actually didn't see much of Russia because, you know, when you live in Russia, you want to see what's beyond the country. And so I would go and travel to Europe. I was very attracted to Europe. And then I moved to America, and guess what? And now I started interested in South America and Africa, and I really didn't see much of America. Well, again, this summer, my family and I actually took some time to travel around America, and we visited some countries. So once again, I don't like to say this expression thanks to COVID, but thanks to this situation we are in now, I think everybody is getting more interested, and they're investing more in the country they live in, and in the nature, especially in the nature of this country, because a lot of museums and places are indoors, are closed. So it's becoming very popular now to travel and see the nature. And so I was very glad to start my trip to Brazil with Amazon. And so I was in a group with 5 more people, and all of them were from Brazil. I was the only gringo, as they called me. Nice. And so I asked them, I said, hey, have you guys been here before? Have you seen Amazon before? And they're like, no. This is our first time. And they admitted, they said, we usually go to America, and one of the popular destinations among the Brazilians is Florida. Disney, of course, we have Disney.
Yes, definitely.
And so they, well, this year, they invested their time in exploring the Amazon area, and I thought it was great. And so I was very lucky to experience this place, this beautiful place, with the locals. So I was the only foreigner there. So, and every time you arrive to a place that is not spoiled by the civilization, it's always nice. You always relearn how to appreciate basic things in your life. And we keep forgetting what we have, how much we have. And so nowadays, especially, we're trapped in the world where technology and social media reign supreme. And so when we say we need a vacation, where do we usually go? We go to some luxury places where the pressure is even higher. So it's kind of ironic. And again, this year, 2020 was an incredible year that actually prompted us to reconsider a lot of values, reconsider certain things in our life. I think to appreciate so many things in our life, much more, like family and what we have. And so instead of, so if you want to escape this modern world, you should try places like Manaus. And I don't want to sound like a typical tourist and say you must visit this place, but really it's a unique place that everybody must visit at least once. And again, I come from Russia, and Russia is very rich in nature and parks and you name it. But I actually, before I went to Brazil, to Manaus, I did some homework, and I found out that so that Brazil is actually as big as Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Well,
and
I don't remember. I think that we have the fourth most biggest country in the world. I'm not sure.
Or is it Amazon? Amazon. The Amazon area is actually as big as the entire continent of Australia. And I think 1 in 5 of all bird and fish species are actually found in Amazonia. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
we learn when you grew up and we study about geography. We all the time are learning about the Amazon and the wildlife there and the importance for Brazil and the world.
Right. But also I found very interesting that actually the Amazon rainforest depends on the Sahara Desert in Africa. Because apparently the wind brings some dust from Sahara over the Atlantic Ocean, and it deposits the dust in the Amazon. And so these dust deposits actually provide the Amazonian flora with some important minerals, and so it actually helps the jungles thrive. So, yep.
Okay. Nice.
Here's a connection. Here's the connection. You're looking for a connection. Here's your connection between Sahara Desert and Amazonia. So here we go.
Yeah, awesome. I've never heard it before.
Well, here's something I taught you.
And yeah, thank you so much. And I think that you hit the point because, for example, Brazilians are really interested about others, Europe, on America, like Miami, Florida, and on other places like France or Italy. And we forget to, live and explore our own country. So it's really rare to see a person from Rio or São Paulo that, went to Manaus to see the Amazon rainforest. So I think that it's important to hear from a foreigner like, hey, this is important and you need to go there, because you have a lot of stuff and simple way of living, like you have the jungle, you have the indigenous people
I feel really bad now that I had this huge privilege and advantage to live in Russia and to travel, but I never actually took time to travel, to explore Russia. So now, after I came back actually from Brazil, from Manaus, now on the top of my list, my bucket list, is actually my own country, to go and explore my own country.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, one day I will go to, I don't know how to pronounce in English, Johannesburg.
Yekaterinburg.
Yeah, and Sochi, it's really famous. It's like you have beaches there, right? It's like maybe you have a little bit of sun. I don't know how does it work, the Russian sun.
Yeah, I live
But
pretty close to Yekaterinburg. I have some relatives in Yekaterinburg. It's about, if you take a train,
okay.
it's about, what is it? I want to say 12 hours by train. So, yeah.
Okay, nice. And in Manaus, how many days you spend there, and what did you
I,
live
I
in?
spent, I spent 3 nights and 4 days. And I was very lucky. I had a very great group, but I don't think I've ever had any problems with the Brazilians. I think Brazilians are very kind and friendly people. And so we kind of created this bond from day one. But I'll tell you what actually triggered all this, what helped us to create a bond. So um, when you are in a situation with minimum influence of the modern world, right? You are in this place without any cell phone, without any internet connection. We actually lost power for a couple of hours every day. And so some of us did not even have a chance to recharge our phones. And I'll tell you, one night we came home and, well, we came back to the village and after sunset, and I had to use whatever power was left on my cell phone so I can see what's inside my hut. But because it was so dark, I couldn't even tell what's inside my my little hut. I try not to think about any animals, any insects, or any other creatures that might be visiting my hut that night. So I barely found my bed. I went to bed and I'm thinking, okay, so I will wake up in the morning and I will see what's going on and I will find my clothes. And unfortunately or fortunately, we had to wake up like at 5 in the morning to see a sunrise. So when I woke up at 5 in the morning, it was pitch black. It was pitch black. And now imagine it's pitch black. You have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what's might be inside your little place. And then you see all these different noises, either birds or animals. And it's just, you understand that you're in this wilderness. And so when you are with a small group, well, there was 6 of us plus the guide, and we are in this situation, it's just, you create a bond like this, like you're turning on your survival mode. And so we become like very supportive of each other. And only like 2 people could speak some English there. Well, of course, our guide spoke some English, but the rest of the group, they didn't know any English. So like it didn't take them long enough to switch from English to Portuguese. And so I was like, okay, what's going on? What are we doing next? What's going on? And so at one point I kind of zoned out and I'm like, you know what? Let them speak Portuguese. I don't need to understand anything. So I was totally excluded from the world. I didn't have to react. I didn't have to respond. It was just me and the nature and some Portuguese and some other birds noise in the background. It was nice, but they were nice. They would translate. If I asked them, they would translate some important information for me. But
Yeah. No, okay.
Well, I was just going to say the village that we stayed in, it's a small village, and people there are very genuine, and they're much happier, and they always smile to you. And that's probably an international language. When you don't speak one's language, what do? You just smile, right? And so they were very helpful, and this is actually very contagious. So at the end of the day, you just get related to the situation. Like I said, we became all good friends, and it was just awesome. We had the best 4 days. It was the best.
Okay, nice. Yeah, just unfortunately, just 5% of Brazilians speak English. So 5% of 210 million people.
It's interesting because when Brazilian students come to us, will come to me, come to college, they know good. They speak good English.
Oh,
They speak good
nice.
English, and they always want to do their best. I can't complain about Brazilian students.
Yeah, we are like yeah, I'm sorry about my English because I don't speak so well. Blah, blah, blah. It's really common to see a Brazilian, like say I'm sorry to speak another language,
I told you, because you guys are very polite and very kind, very nice, very friendly people. I still stay in touch with the group that I spent 4 days in the Amazon. We're all on Instagram, and yeah.
Nice. And which animals did you see there? Like alligators, maybe?
Okay,
Otos?
so because I don't speak much, well, I don't speak any Portuguese, and the group would get so excited and they would speak Portuguese with each other. So one day they told me, hey, because we were on the river, right? The village is situated on the river. And so they're all swimming in that river. And they're like, hey, you should try too. Jump with us, jump in with us. And I'm like, well, it's kind of murky. I don't know what's in it. And I'm asking my travel guide. I said, is it safe? He's like, oh, yeah. It's very safe. I said, any alligators? Oh, no. Because I saw alligators on one of the banks there. I said, oh, no. I said, any piranhas? No. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. So I go there, I jump in the river for 2 minutes just to take a picture, video. I've been there. I swam in the Amazon River. I come out, so life is good. The water was brilliant. It was very warm. It was very good. So I come out, and then what I see? Pink dolphins in this river, like not far from that place where I was swimming. And I go, oh, okay, well, dolphins are nice, right? So, okay. So then I see alligators on the other bank of that river. I go, and I just swam here. And then like around the corner, they took us fishing for piranhas, and we actually went fishing for piranhas. And so I asked now the guy, I said, you're telling me that I was swimming with piranhas in the river? He's like, yeah. Do you have a problem? Like, no.
No, it's okay.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. And then, gosh, I forgot the name of that fish. It's a huge.
Pirarucu.
Yes, that one. That one. I saw it once after, of course, I swam in the river. I saw it once with my own eyes. It was a huge monster in this river, and they told, oh yeah, this is the fish we have for lunch every day. So they kind of
it's really good.
tricked me. It's very good. First, when I first tried it, I didn't realize it was fish. I thought it was meat. It tasted like good pork. It didn't taste like fish at all. So I really like that. So maybe that was a good thing that I did not speak any Portuguese. So I got this extreme swimming in the river, but that was nice. But then later on, they told me what creatures live in that or swim in that river. But the wildest experience was when we went for a walk in the jungle. Well, we didn't see any animals, but we heard some animals. Well, first of all, I saw this huge butterfly. It was like this big. It was a beautiful butterfly, a blue butterfly. And so when we were supposed to spend a night in the jungle. And so when we got to our place and we settled down, so our tour guide started preparing our dinner. And so next time, well, first of all, there are all kinds of noises, beautiful noises like birds or some animals. It's as I call it, is a cacophony of the Amazon. And here's the funniest thing that I noticed. I'm kind of getting off the jungle now, back to the place, the village where we stayed. When we first arrived, there were tons of little birds. And then I realized that there are actually different species of birds there and parrots. And how do I know? Because they were all making different sounds. But here's the funniest thing. Each species had its own time during the day to produce the sound, to speak up. And then they would get quiet. All of a sudden, all of them would get quiet, and then you hear a different sound of different birds. And then they would get quiet, and then there would be a third. And so it was like a choir, and it was all coordinated. I don't know how Mother Nature does that, but it was incredible. And I'm sure Mother Nature does not use any like appointments, cell phone reminders, calendar reminders, right? But it was just so beautiful. So I got used to this. I caught it right away. So when we went to the jungle, I also could follow this pattern. And then all of a sudden, it gets so quiet. And out of nowhere, there's this huge roar. And you go, oh my God, it's not a bird anymore. It's a huge animal. It's some kind of monster. And so, and I look at my my travel guide, and he's just very quiet and calm. And he's
probably a jaguar.
Making dinner. No. I asked him, I said, Manuel, what is this? And how close is it to us? He said, oh, don't worry. It's on the other bank. I said, what is this? He says, oh, it's a monkey. A monkey? How big is the monkey? About 2 meters. I'm like, oh my God. So it was so loud. I got so scared. And then I thought, okay, I'm a tourist here, so I must be okay because they know, right? They know what's going on. They wouldn't take us to a dangerous place. So, okay, so it was cool. So we go to bed and we all slept in a hammock. I wake up at 5 in the morning. It's pitch black. You're in the forest, you're in the jungle. It's pitch black. I wake up at 5 in the morning. And what do I hear? The same roar, the sound of those, I don't know, baboons. I don't know what type of monkeys.
I think that we don't have, I don't know. I'm not biology, but yeah.
All I know, it was this so loud. Now imagine, this is so quiet. You cannot see anything. You cannot see who is next to you, what's next to you. And it's very close to the sunrise, so you can see some light going on. But first, I got so scared for a second, and then I thought, oh my God, this is like the coolest thing that can happen to you as a tourist. So that was awesome. That was awesome. I was the only one who heard that because I woke up early. I didn't have, let's say, the best time sleeping in the hammock. Everybody else was sleeping like babies. Let's just say it's not my type of bed. But then everybody woke up by like 6:30, and our guide, he was already up and he was making us breakfast, and he actually made coffee on the open flame. So it was great. It was very nice.
Amazing. And have you had contact with indigenous people?
No, because it wasn't our agenda. It was on my agenda when I was buying this tour, but because of the COVID situation, they canceled that. Yeah, but I've had so much experience already, so I didn't really get upset. I mean, it would be nice to see the locals, but I've had enough of adrenaline to move on. And remember, it was at the beginning of my trip, so it was only like my first, three nights, 3 days in Brazil, and it was, let's say, it was a good planning on my side. I'm glad I started with Manaus.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear your stories because it's not a common place for a foreigner, like when they come to Brazil. And
yeah, I actually have this thing. Do you know what this is? I brought my little souvenir.
It's ouriço. I'm not sure.
It's actually a dry plant, and it's like a brush. It's a comb for monkeys. They brush their hair.
Ah, okay.
Yep. See that?
Yeah, nice.
It's the little needles here. They're kind of sharp, but. So I brought this as a souvenir from the jungle.
Okay. And have you visited the city? You saw the theater?
I went to, after Manaus, I went to the Iguazu Falls, and I stayed there for 2 days. And well, I chose to stay in the hotel, which was on the property of the park. So it was in the park. So I didn't want to, because I'm a solo traveler, I didn't want to look for transportation, or I tried avoiding people, not to ride on buses and so on and so forth. So I decided to stay on the property. And the good thing about this was I had actually the Iguazu Falls to myself. I woke up to see the sunrise at about 6 o'clock. And after the sunrise, I went to the park, because the park is open to those who stay in the hotel. And I have my video on my YouTube channel, and you could see there's nobody there. It's just me and the falls and the sun. And again, was it amazing? Yes. I just came back from the jungle where I just had my adrenaline up. It was amazing. Now I am tete-a-tete, one-on-one with the falls, with the Iguazu Falls in Brazil. It was, I don't know, what can be better than this? So I had a private date with the falls. And then after that, I went to Rio. I flew to Rio de Janeiro. And of course, Rio has a different dynamic. It's a different style of life. But I don't know. I always thought that Rio I had a different vision of Rio. I thought it would be more like New York, maybe crazier. But it's not. It wasn't. It was very. I actually enjoyed that. I don't know. Maybe I didn't go to the crazy places. I stayed on Copacabana, and so I really enjoyed that area. I visited the fort. It was right next to my hotel. Can't remember the name of that fort, but I strolled on the beach. And again, I woke up to see a sunrise, and about 6 o'clock in the morning, I went to the beach, and there was nobody there. And again, the Atlantic, you're on Copacabana, and you have a view of the Sugarloaf Mountain. What else can you want from life? So either I got very lucky, or Rio is really that nice, but that trip was very remarkable. And again, I don't want to sell anything, but you have to go. I can't believe I waited that long to visit Brazil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it made me feel really happy and proud. Like, yeah, guys, that you are watching this. Brazil is this. I was traveling for. This is my 15th state. I'm now in João Pessoa, and one of my missions is to visit all states here. We have 27, and all the places have their own stories, and they are so different. You have Rio, you have Amazonas, you have like the northeast region of Brazil, and you have the south with the European influence, and it's really nice to travel in Brazil. You know, it's not. I'm not saying because I'm Brazilian, but you have all the environments. Like, you wanna see nature, you have here history, dunes, waterfalls. So this is really
I
nice.
know. I like I said, I did some homework before. I wanted to visit some, because it was my first time, so I had to visit Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
And I had to see the Iguazu Falls, and of course the Amazon River. These are like 3 places I had to visit. And when I was doing research on Brazil, I was so upset because I only had so much time I could spend in Brazil, and I was so upset that I had little time, because there are so many beautiful places. And of course, you have students from different places in Brazil, and of course, everyone says his or her place is the best, and I have to visit. But don't forget, Brazil is huge. It's a big country. You know, it takes time to travel. I thought Russia was big, but it takes time to travel within Brazil. So and I'm following some of you guys, Brazilian bloggers, and you post some beautiful pictures, and I go, oh my God, how did I miss that place? So I have to plan a second trip. That's for sure, a second trip. But
Yeah,
it's good for you now to travel in Brazil and see all the states. Like I said, it's a good time now.
yeah, yeah. It's a great opportunity. Of course, I'm taking care of myself and I'm wearing masks all the time, alcohol as well. And yeah, the trips, it's not crowded, as the usual,
Yes.
and people are focused on nature. So like beaches from the northeast, maybe Manaus, or Bonito, which is in the central west. So yeah, the focus on now it's nature places. So I'm just trying to traveling to these places, safety. That's the
Yeah,
most
and
important.
I don't know if I should be talking about this, but I was warned about Brazil not to go there because of the COVID, especially Manaus, which was the epicenter of the disease, the virus. And but I was impressed with the precaution that Brazil takes. Everybody was wearing masks. Every hotel had like hand sanitizers, and they were checking my temperature, and I was impressed with the way they were handling the situation. I have to tell you, I came home COVID free. So I did not get any problems traveling. And another thing that was in my favor to go to Brazil before I went, Brazil was one of very few countries that did not require a negative COVID test. And I was afraid of all these things going into your nose. And so I had several places on my list to go to. And when I checked the US government embassy website, I go, oh, no test. Brazil, here I come. And when I came back, like right before the holidays, before New Year, they made the new restrictions, and they say, yeah, Brazil now requires a negative COVID test. But I had my time.
That's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, we could talk about all that places. And do you have any similarity that we have with Russians? I know that we are completely different when you talk about the environment. Like you have, the cold, it's completely different from here in Brazil. Our cold, it's like 24 degrees, and
Well,
Russia, it's like
I'm not even gonna go into the weather because I mean the weather is so different. But we do have in Russia places that are not that they don't get that cold in winter, like for example Sochi. But again, this year Sochi has lots of snow, and you usually don't get snow in Sochi. But so I'm not even gonna go into the weather. I would say we have. Both countries have tasty food. I like Brazilian food. I like Brazilian desserts, and I'm very crazy about any dessert. I actually found a little cafe with some favorite sweets there. I think I would say women, I would say Brazilian women are some sort of similar to Russian women. And when it comes to fashion, so we kind of have a similar idea of fashion. And before I actually went to Brazil, one of the bloggers recommended some Brazilian clothes brands. And when I purchased them, they actually had the same fit as European clothes. Because in America, it's a little bit different. And I don't know how it's for you guys, but like for me, to find a good fit dress or skirt is very hard. It's easy to do in Europe, and it was easy to do in Brazil. So when it comes to that, I can tell you we're very similar. Other than that, I don't know. I can't really tell you more about similarities. The difference is, of course, you guys are all about music and carnival. And I actually spent some good deal time with talking with the Brazilian women in my group in Manaus, and we talked a lot about women, Brazilian women, and music. I actually asked them, I said, tell me the first word that comes to you when somebody says Brazil. So if I say Russia, what do you imagine? What is the first thing that comes out of you? So what is the first word that comes out when you hear Russia?
Yeah, I think winter, like the first word.
Okay, so when somebody says Brazil, the first thing comes to my mind is carnival.
Okay. Okay.
But I was surprised by their answers. Most of them said it's diversity. And I said, but America, when you say America, you think diversity. America is more diversity to me than like any other countries. But traveling in Brazil, I actually realized that that's true. It's diversity. Once again, I only stayed in Brazil, for a couple of days, for like 10 days. But the diversity, how do I explain this? It's different. The idea of diversity in Brazil is different than in America. Let's just leave it at this. Let's just leave it at this. I don't want to use the word problematic, but I think diversity is a more problematic word in America than it's in Brazil.
Yeah.
If it makes sense. Right?
No. Yeah, I got it. Like, let's say that here you have a black and white people, and you have tons between them. So you have the black guy, and you have mulatto, which is like me. I'm not black, but I'm not black to be white and not white to be black, And you have Cafuso, which is a mixture like of indigenous with black, and you have white with indigenous, and you have Asians as well. So we don't have a face. We cannot describe, the face of a Brazilian.
I think because America is the country of immigrants, and maybe that kind of sparks some controversy when it comes to diversity, because they all, like immigrants, come to America with their own perception, their own values, their own culture, where in Brazil, you're already born with that. So it's more natural than in America. In America, it's a process to diversity.
They cannot hug the new culture. Let's say that, right? Like the American culture. Like, no, I'm Indian, so I'm Indian. Like my Indian habits and my Indian food. Like maybe something like that, right?
Yeah. I didn't find this diversity as like a huge problem, or it almost like doesn't exist. Like to me, every time I hear the word diversity, I start thinking about like, oh my God, like, am I following all the rules? Am I being politically correct? Am I trying to accommodate everybody's needs? I think it's much easier it's more natural in Brazil. Like you don't notice this yet. There's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of diversity in Brazil.
Okay.
When it comes to everything, not just color of people, everything, music, food, religions, you name it. You name it.
Yeah, amazing. And I was searching about Russian in Brazil, and I found about Bolshoi. You wanna describe what is Bolshoi for the people that are watching or listening to the video?
Bolshoi is the Bolshoi Theater is a big mystery. It's a beautiful place. I've been there twice. I was there when in the 90s. Now it's almost impossible to get to Bolshoi. You either have to be invited, you have to have an invitation, or you have to know someone, you have to have some connections in order to get there. And I know the tickets are expensive, but the money is not the problem. The issue is actually to be able to get a ticket. And so I've been trying to actually get to Bolshoi and show it to my children. I haven't had any luck. We have a similar theater in St. Petersburg, and it's called Mariinsky, and it's famous for its ballet, first of all. And we've been, my kids and I have been in Mariinsky several times. It's not a problem. There's a process, but like the same, it's not that easy to get tickets to Garnier, for example, in Paris, but you can. So again, it's not that easy, but you can get tickets to Garnier. You can get tickets to all other theaters, but for some reason, Bolshoi has been this big mystery that not many people can get in. So can't tell you much about Bolshoi. I don't know what's going on now. I know they went through some huge restoration a while ago, and I know it's very beautiful. It's like, another place everyone must see, like Garnier. If you're in Paris, you have to see Garnier. It's beautiful. When you're in Moscow, you have to see Bolshoi. Whether you can get your tickets, that's another question.
Yeah.
I never thought about taking a tour, and I don't know if they even offer like day tours to see, but maybe I will look into that in the future.
Okay. So in, I think, 1995, they came to Brazil for do a ballet presentation in Joinville, which is the dance capital that we have in the Santa Catarina state. And the Russians were impressed, like for the crowd, they are like cheering, like in football stadiums, and like, yeah, let's see to put, a school here. And they started to develop this. Yeah, they started to develop this school there, and I think it were founded in 20. Yeah, I think 2001. I think, I'm not sure. And it is the only Bolshoi school outside of Russia. So we have
cool. Here's actually another similarity. We do like ballet, and both countries, Brazil and Russia, follow the Russian ballet school, Vaganova's method. I actually have a friend here in Orlando, and she's from Rio de Janeiro, and she is a ballerina, and she teaches ballet now. She was actually a teacher for my daughter a few years ago. And here's the funniest thing. I posted my pictures from Rio. No, I posted some pictures from Brazil on Facebook, and she replies right away, "Where are you in Brazil?" I said, "I'm in Rio." She says, I will be in Rio in 6 hours. I'm on my way." I go, "What?" We never planned this. I had not seen her for a while since my daughter stopped ballet. I had not seen her for a while, and I saw her again in Rio de Janeiro. How do you like that? And her uncle actually prepared that, I can't remember the name, that famous drink, Brazilian drink.
The alcoholic one?
Mm-hmm.
Caipirinha?
Yep, that's the one. That's the one. Yep, that was nice. It was actually very...
And she started to dance in Joinville or no?
Well, she is in Rio, and she actually showed me her school is not far from Copacabana Beach. No, what's the beach next to Copacabana?
Ipanema.
Yeah, Panama. Yeah. So she said that her school, her apartment is in that area, and her ballet school was not far from that. So she's from Rio, and she studied the Vaganova method. And in fact, she was supposed to go to St. Petersburg this summer, but because of the COVID, it was all canceled, and so.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately. Nice. This is really amazing to hear. And another story that I found after the Russian Revolution, some Russians came to Brazil.
A lot of Russians.
In the south. Yeah, and I found that place called Campina das Missões, which is located in Rio Grande do Sul. It's the southeast region that we have, the state, and they have Russian churches. They have how can I say, Orthodoxes,
Orthodox Church.
crosses. Yeah, and people speak Russian there. So how cool is that, right? We have a piece of Russia here.
Yeah, yeah. There was a big there was a big immigration move to Argentina, Chile, and Brazil. And Brazil was one of the popular destinations. When we were in Chile, in Santiago, we were just strolling one of the streets. Next time I see is a Russian Orthodox church, and I see Matryoshka, and I see all these Russian souvenirs, and I go, "What's going on?" It's a Russian population, a Russian community there. Yeah, we actually have several famous movies and books in Russia where Brazil is mentioned as some kind of a good place to go to, a good place to live, and so yeah. I think even nowadays, a lot of Russians want to visit Brazil. It's on their list. I'll say it's more, Brazil is more known, is more popular, not just because of the soccer, but because of this connection with the, because of the immigration. Yeah, it's more popular in Russia.
Amazing, yeah. I think that we always had this good relation. I found another thing, which is an expedition that happened in the 1824, I'm not sure. And the Russians traveled inside of Brazil for some years. And you have that researches in a museum in Johannesburg. I'm not sure the original name. Yeah. And you have that research talking about the wildlife, people. So I'm just forget the name of the guy, which is Grigory Ivanovich Langsdorff. Yeah. So this guy.
Good pronunciation. I've never heard of the guy, but good pronunciation.
Spasiba. I know a few words in Russian. And yeah, it's another. And they did a book I'm reading now. It's Langsdorff Expedition, and it's really cool if you wanna see a little bit about Brazil. So this Russian guy did that research.
How did you get your Russian name?
My mom, she was like searching for names, and she found Andrey, and yeah, that's it. I don't know I have, but it's common to see Andrey in Brazil.
You know, once I had a student and his name was Gagarin.
He really?
Have you heard of Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space? Gagarin?
Yeah.
So Gagarin is last name.
Oh.
But because my student's parents were so fascinated with the history of space in Russia, and because he was the first man, so they named their child Gagarin.
Oh, nice. Igor, it's another common name here. Igor, Tatiana, we have Tatiana as well. And yeah, I'm not sure about all the Russian name, but yeah, it's very common here.
You have a lot of Natalias.
Yeah, Natalia as well. Natalie, we have a Natalie as well. And sometimes I see some last names, Russian last names, you know, like I had a friend, it's like Ivanovich, something like that. So yeah, maybe it's from Ukraine, that places. I'm not sure, but
Eastern Europe.
Yeah, so we sometimes we see these guys.
Cool.
So Tatiana, thank you so much for that conversation. It was really nice to see your histories about the Amazon. It was really fun. And spasiba, thank you so much for this. You have your last. Obrigado. You have your last words.
I have what?
Your last words.
Oh, my last words? Go to Brazil. Visit Brazil. It's all worth it. And don't be like me, spend more time in Brazil. I had 10 days, it was not enough. But if you just want to see the best of Brazil, my 3 things are Manaus, the Iguazu Falls, and Rio de Janeiro.
Okay, nice. And yeah, guys, that's it. My name is Andrey. If you want to see about Brazilian Buddy, you have my Instagram profile, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook. And how can I find you, Tatiana? You have a YouTube channel as well, right?
I have my YouTube channel. It's Tatiana B. And of course, I'm on Instagram. It's family, traveling, love. Love.
Okay, nice. So yeah, guys.
3 important things for me: family, traveling, and love. Love.
Nice, definitely. Yeah, me too. So guys, that's it. I hope you like it, and I'll see you later. Ciao.
Bye.